Hi, my name is Val. Welcome back to Chamber of Chess. And today I'm going to show you one of the games I played in Chicago Open, May 2022. The interesting thing about this tournament is that for the first time, my younger brothers, myself, and my father, so four of us, played in this Open. And it was like the very first tournament we started participating together. So my father, Vladimir Hakopian, is a professional chess player, as I guess most of you know. And my younger brother is national master Edward Hakopian, who goes by Ed in the development of this channel. And they both played in the Chicago Open, while I played in under 2300, while my youngest brother, uh, Sergey, he played in, I guess it was under 1500, something like that. So today I'm gonna share with you one of the games I played, and it was pretty memorable because usually since I started playing, I mostly enjoyed playing like positional games, more like end game type, while this one was really more dynamic, and you're gonna see why. So we started uh, by getting into this French defense, which is called French Tarrasch, closed. The traditional variation is c5 ed, as I think most of you saw in the games of famous chess players. This one is called Tarrasch Open, and that's how we developed our pieces. This one is alternative move knight e4, but most people just stick with a traditional one. So this is a typical position, and you really want to develop your knight on e2, because if you put it on f3, then after knight f3 and let's say capture, queen b6, it's very hard to defend the pawn. Well, knight b3, but then it's a check, and yeah, it's not going to work out. So I guess you just better sacrifice the pawn and play this position. But this variation is more common. Bishop e7. I would go for pawn exchange, then takes, and castle. And I have a lot of games like this when I was playing on Chess.com, or just like friendly games with Edward. So the way it went was castle, and I went for bishop c2 to make this battery, in order to disturb the enemy king on h7. So rook e8. I would think this one is a bit passive because rook looks pretty good right here. Maybe do something more helpful like queen c7, I don't know, b5 maybe, to make this bishop, be more active. So rook e8, rook e1, bishop f8, knight g5, h4. Well, this is a obvious threat to h7. And h4 move, I didn't actually consider this move during the game, but the point is that if black chooses to go g6, pawn on h5 will be more like helpful in ruining the king's defense like this. So I guess that's why Engine showed after the game, although, like I said, I didn't notice it. So knight g5, g6, knight f4. I chose to like centralize my most pieces, bring it to closer to the king side, and takes knight h7. Well, you can guess that once king captures it, then this king is in a very poor position after queen h5, and that's a pin. So king g8 takes, and eventually black loses the rook, and the king is very weak. A really interesting thing that I noticed when you have second thoughts on whether the compensation for the sacrifice piece is sufficient, always pay attention to the enemy king. Like, is it weak? Is it well defended? Because right here, it's pretty obvious that the king is very weak. After you bring your king to h5, check, king g8, and you sacrifice one more piece. with the winning of the rook. So obviously there are no defense for the king, and black is gonna collapse. The way it continued, I mean, that's another variation, but no, I guess, yeah, because I really thought if he's gonna take the pawn, you should really choose this knight. So this one can defend f6 against the fork. But still, I'm just gonna capture and then knight f6, winning the rook, and ultimately I end up with an extra piece. So the way it was after that, king h8, capture, and I mean, this practically is a blunder on the black side. So he really shouldn't take the pawn. The best move he could go for is, I mean, according to the engine again, although I remember seeing this move during the game because I really thought f6 should be defended. I have too many attacks on this square. Bishop g6, but according to that, just knight g6, bishop g6. Yeah, and again, as you can see, the black king is defenseless. So obviously, white is winning here. I could use a couple of checks here, but eventually the position is going to collapse for black. And the way it continued was knight f6 check, knight e8. We still played a few moves. I sacrificed another knight because I really thought that opening up the enemy king defense will be enough, more than enough actually. And here, exactly when black resigned, because no way he can defend the h8. So in case he plays bishop g7, well, I guess the good move is just capture and win it like this. So knight g7. And yeah, just, I don't know, queen h6. If he goes back, checkmate. If he comes here, just bishop g5. That's it. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna share some more games next time.